Hi everyone, this is Brett Endy's the Dog Savant, dogtrainingla.com. So, I'm going to talk today about how sensory overload in dogs is at many times misunderstood or misperceived as something different. What does that mean? I have a lot of new cases of dogs that when I do nothing more than touch the leash, they freak out. They have a tantrum. And with a dog, when they go into a tantrum mode, they think they're going to die. So their reactions are extreme. It's not a pain-based reaction. I don't want to call it a fear-based reaction as much as a not believing in something that is best for them can happen reaction because it's never occurred before, hence why I got called to be there in the first place. Let me give an example. You get a dog, 3-year-old, breed, insignificant, is always on the case, always used to getting overstimulated, because remember, dogs are not reacting as a conscious thing. Their reactions are based on being overstimulated, overdrawn to, and their sensory system just can't handle the amount of information all at once coming into them, so the nervous system spikes, and there's your external reaction you see. So what happens is when you have a dog that we're asking to be calm as a way to navigate life, because what happens is these dogs feel that this overreactive, following their owners everywhere, pulling on the leash, jumping, getting too excited, we think it's something else, is a way to stay alive, to get fed, to meet all your resource needs, and live another day. And that's not really the case. We take great care of our dogs, but some dogs misunderstand it because of their over-anticipatory way of going about life, and we don't see it, and they think they're actually even keeping track of us too much. So when someone like me steps in who sees it exactly for what it is and says, hey, when I first meet you, I don't want you to think about 10 things. I want you to focus. I want you to think about sit, or I want you to think about let's go or heel. They freak out, not because I'm hurting them, not because I'm choking them or scaring them, because they feel that when a human expects this commitment and is aware of the dynamics of what's going on in those moments versus what most humans do, they feed into it, they pet the dog, they get excited because our ego gets stroked. And we like it. I love it when my dog's excited to see me, but I'm aware of what's normal, because dogs should be happy to see you, but not aside from themselves because they saw you. And that's, again, leading to other issues, even though it doesn't bother us. So when I step in and say, hey, focus on just sit, think about sit, which actually makes it feel better and calm, that first shock to their system makes them go crazy. Or when you first bring a dog that's leash aggressive closer to another dog, when they're now used to their reaction getting the owner to go the other way, and that's they've associated as a way to, or at least perceiving themselves to stay alive, even though there's no real threat. I'm like, well, let's do this. I know how to work this through because of my confidence in doing this for so long. And some dogs freak out. They'll pull back on the leash. They'll bite the leash. They'll paw. If one paw doesn't work, they do another paw. They'll make noises. As long as I know I'm not hurting them or choking them, in most cases I push the issue, because all I'm expecting is for them to engage a command. And it always, because of my experience, I see them happier, more accepting, and of course now focused enough to feel a filter in place to, oh, you're just another dog for all this time. I thought you were some big threat, because I was getting too much stimulation coming in and I couldn't process this like a flood. I had to get one drop at a time. Now I see it for what it is and I don't feel it. My 5 senses are back in action, not my 6th sense, if you want to see it, is that kind of thing. So a lot of times people evade this issue. They won't push it. They don't want to see the poor dog struggle. And that's why a lot of means to training don't engage pressure. And I don't mean like peer pressure. I mean physical pressure, like acupressure, like massage, to break that tension that dogs hold in the front portion of their body and their face and their mouth. And when it builds, pardon me, it has to blast. If you can disengage that and create sensory integration, and what happens is, like I said before, filters in place. I know it's hard to visualize because a lot of people are not as sensitive. I'm like that. That's why I get these dogs. I'm wired to I can feel things around me, and I have to use similar coping techniques to meditate and get myself, zeroed in on one thing so I can maintain a steady track of thought. And that's how we have to guide our dogs, not just at these times where they're going to be reactive and it's inconvenient for us, but in many cases across the board, room to room, situation to situation. Not forever, but consistently for the beginning stages of a new relationship or establishing a relationship with a new dog. So what was the point of this? Again, I know a lot of people think that I've done it. I've been out in the world. I've done this, enough to see that I go out there with a dog and we're doing the first, oh, here comes a dog on a leash. Let's go push the issue. And they're pulling and fighting and, making all this fuss. And the other person's like, what the hell's going on here? Should I call ASPCA? And my client's like, no, he knows what he's doing. Because I understand how it looks, yet I know what's really going on. And if I can break that sensory reaction, it's not going to look like a poor dog who's consciously thinking, I'm scared, help me. They just don't trust that humans can engage them in these situations that are really safe, and that's why the problem is there to begin with. I had to turn that off my phone. As a reminder, I'm on my way to the dog park, actually. I hope that makes sense. Again, I like to explain my theories in as clear a way as possible, because dogs are all feeling. There's no language to their world. We're using language as best we can to get on the same page, but more to make associations to a feeling and an action, where we're using language, to communicate. But again, if you're feeling more sensitive type of person, you can relate to how dogs are seeing a lot of things, feeling a lot of things that we tend to filter out naturally. Dogs, we have to help them with that if they have the potential for overreactions, getting too distracted, too stimulated, and problem behaviors. So I hope that makes sense. My name is Brett Endies. I'm the Dog Savant. Please subscribe and love your dog. Have a good day.